US and British naval forces shot down 21 drones and missiles fired by Yemen-backed Houthis on Tuesday. The projectiles were headed towards international shipping lanes in the southern Red Sea, the United States said. Britain's defence minister said it was the largest attack in the area by the militants to date, as the 3-month-long war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza spills over into other parts of the Middle East. US Central Command said 18 drones, 2 anti-ship cruise missiles and 1 anti-ship ballistic missile were shot down by the 2 navies in the incident. No injuries nor damage were reported, it said, adding that this was the 26th Houthi attack on commercial shipping lanes in the Red Sea since November 19th. Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Sarrier gave a televised speech on Wednesday, saying the attack had targeted a US ship it said was providing support to Israel. The operation was a response to a previous US attack that killed 10 Houthi militants, he added. The Houthis control most of Yemen and have been targeting the route to show their support for the Palestinian Islamist group Hamas. The attacks have severely disrupted international commerce on the key route between Europe and Asia, which accounts for about 15% of the world's shipping traffic. Many shipping companies, including German shipping group Hapag-Lloyd and its Danish rival Maersk, have been forced to reroute their vessels, taking the longer journey around Africa. The Iranian-backed Houthis have vowed to continue attacks until Israel halts the conflict in Gaza, and warned they would attack US warships if the militia group itself was targeted.
Well, last night, HMS Diamond, amongst a number of other US ships, were involved in shooting down a whole barrage of missiles and drones. HMS Diamond herself shot down 7 drones. Remember, this is not usual. It was over 3 decades until a couple of weeks ago that the Royal Navy had not fired anything down in anger. And we cannot have a situation where a major sea route, a major ability to move goods around the world is being cut off by terrorists and thugs, and we therefore must act. Well, we do know that Iran is behind so much of, I'm afraid, the bad things that are happening in that region. And there have been reports, I've seen them on social media as well, about how Iran are providing effectively the eyes and the ears, the radar systems through ships and other things, and certainly the equipment to the Houthis who are using it to attack shipping. So we call on Tehran, but also directly on the Houthis. This absolutely must stop. There will be consequences if it doesn't. And they have, I'm afraid, failed to heed the warnings issued on the 3rd of January. We seem to see a drop-off after that by a number of different countries, including the UK and the US, for them to stop and to cease this action. But I'm afraid last night proved they really are not listening.
We've seen 3 major container firms rerouting their ships around the Cape, around South Africa. We've seen oil and gas going that way as well. So economically, there's been a real spike in the price of shipping and insurance rates as well. So that's not sustainable. So at some stage, they're going to have to say, look, we either get the Saudis to negotiate with the Houthis, or we're going to strike them. Because at the end of the day, this is an international strait. Merchant ships have an absolute right to transit through innocent passage through that strait.
The statement was that if the coalition escalated to land, i.e. US or other states targeting Houthis on land, then they would target coalition. At this point today, we say the threat has not changed to commercial shipping. It's still a heightened risk, but we're not seeing that further vessels that aren't Israeli affiliated that might be targeted. Ambre are operating on about 500 to 600 vessels operating in this area. We're listening to radio communications. We're seeing evasive maneuvers, providing several layers of mitigations. And it's that link in with coalition forces that is making the difference between private and military organizations for the commercial sector. Key is de-escalation. No one in the commercial sector wants to see that escalation on land because the threats are clear. Naturally, when last night we saw these attacks, it's the largest collective attack across an area as well. We have to remember there's several hundreds and hundreds of miles between these attacks that have taken place. We feel that could have actually been a test of the coalition forces. There were very few Israeli vessels operating in the area at the time. Therefore, we would question why such an attack. But what we have seen is a clear statement from the coalition forces that they will not tolerate this. They will provide a defense to commercial shipping. At the moment, we've seen about 1 in 5 vessels are going via the Cape of Good Hope. I think as these situations take place, we will see more shipping companies make that evaluation. I think the confusion around the Houthis saying they would target all coalition vessels has been a concern for the industry. We, as many risk management companies, are saying that the threat remains the same in its current state. But if that escalation goes to land, I'm under no illusion that more companies would assess that and start to make deviations.